If you've got pennies sitting in your car, your kitchen drawer, or buried inside an old jar right now, you need to stop what you're doing and check them immediately, because some ordinary-looking wheat pennies are hiding a silent fortune that most people spend without even thinking twice. Nobody talks about these coins until collectors start fighting over them at auctions for insane amounts of money. And the scary part is, these rare pennies still look completely normal to the average person. One tiny detail could mean the difference between 1 cent and life-changing wealth. So do not spend these coins. In today's video, we're counting down the top 3 most valuable wheat pennies in the world, and each one gets rarer, more shocking, and more valuable as we go. Real auction shock, hidden wealth, and coins that could literally change everything are coming up next. So stay till the end, because coin number 1 alone is already unbelievable. The craziest part about the 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark is that most people would throw it into a cash register without a second thought. That's exactly why this coin is so dangerous to ignore. It doesn't scream wealth. It doesn't look flashy. It sits quietly in old piggy banks, dusty coin jars, and forgotten family collections while collectors secretly hunt for the cleanest surviving examples. And when one appears in strong original condition, the entire room changes. Serious buyers go silent. Auction pressure builds. Suddenly, a tiny copper penny becomes a 6-figure obsession. This is not fiction. A fine condition, 1944 wheat penny with no mint mark has reached auction values around $157,000, and most people still have no idea why. To understand why this penny became such a hidden treasure, you have to go back to 1944 when America was deep in World War II. The country was under enormous pressure. Factories were overloaded. Metal supplies were being redirected toward military production. The United States Mint was rushing to keep coins circulating while the nation faced wartime shortages, economic tension, and massive industrial demand. The year before, in 1943, the Mint had switched pennies to zinc-coated steel because copper was needed for war equipment. But by 1944, the government returned the penny to a copper-based composition using recycled wartime shell casings. That historical transition created one of the most emotionally important wheat pennies ever made. Every 1944 penny carries the feeling of wartime America, sacrifice, pressure, and survival pressed directly into metal. And when you actually hold one in your hand, it feels completely ordinary at first, which is exactly what makes this coin so terrifyingly easy to lose. The 1944 wheat penny weighs about 3.11 grams and has a diameter of roughly 19 millimeters. Its thickness is close to 1.5 millimeters with a smooth circular girth that collectors instantly recognize when rolling the coin between their fingers. The composition is mostly copper, with small amounts of tin and zinc blended into the metal, giving the coin that warm brown or reddish appearance that serious collectors obsess over. But here's where everything changes. Original surfaces matter more than almost anything else. If the coin still carries natural darkness, antique toning, or untouched aging from decades of circulation, collectors see authenticity. The moment somebody aggressively cleans the coin, its emotional power and market value can collapse forever. The front of the coin, known as the obverse, shows Abraham Lincoln facing right, designed by Victor David Brenner. Across the top, you'll see the word Liberty, while the date 1944 sits clearly beside Lincoln's portrait. The phrase, "In God we trust," curves above his head, and on this particular version, there is no mint mark below the date, meaning the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. That missing mint mark becomes a massive point of obsession for collectors because Philadelphia coins from this era connect directly to the heart of wartime production. Flip the coin over, and the reverse design reveals the famous wheat stalks stretching along both sides. Between them are the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the Latin phrase "a pluribus unum" resting above. The design feels simple, but to collectors, it represents one of the most iconic eras in American coin history. Now here's something most people completely miss. Even though millions of 1,944 pennies were produced, very few survived in the truly original fine condition, without damage, harsh cleaning, corrosion, or surface destruction. During the war years, coins circulated heavily. Americans spent them aggressively during a time of rationing, economic movement, and constant industrial activity. These pennies bounced through factories, military towns, grocery stores, train stations, and family hands for decades. That means finding one today with strong lettering, visible wheat lines, smooth color, and honest wear is becoming harder every single year. Collectors know this. That's why demand keeps rising, while supply quietly disappears into private collections. And this is where emotions take over the market. Wealthy collectors are no longer buying these coins simply because they like pennies. They're buying history, survival, and scarcity. Some hold them for years and refuse to sell because they believe prices will continue climbing. Others compete aggressively the moment a well-preserved example appears at auction. A naturally toned 1,944 wheat penny with no mint mark can trigger intense bidding wars because original surfaces create trust. That soft brown color, that untouched texture, even tiny traces of age around Lincoln's portrait can dramatically affect how collectors emotionally react to the coin. One small detail changes everything. If you think you may have one, the first thing to check is the date and the missing mint mark under the year. Then carefully inspect the surface under light. Never polish it. Never scrub it. Never try to make it shiny. That mistake destroys value faster than almost anything else. Collectors would rather buy an old, dark, original coin than a bright, cleaned one that lost its natural character forever. Professional grading is critical because authentication, condition verification, and surface preservation all influence how much serious buyers are willing to pay. Most people rush, panic, or clean coins the moment they think they found treasure. Smart collectors stay patient because patience creates wealth in this market. And that's exactly why the 1,944 wheat penny without a mint mark has become a silent fortune hiding in plain sight. It looks harmless. It feels ordinary. Yet somewhere out there, people are accidentally spending a coin worth more than a luxury car without even realizing it. Do not spend this coin if you find one. This is real hidden wealth, sitting quietly inside everyday change, waiting for someone observant enough to notice it before it disappears forever. But what comes next is even bigger. The next wheat penny on this list is surrounded by even more collector obsession, even more auction fear, and a value so shocking that some people refuse to believe it's real until they see the bidding with their own eyes. Most people see a dark, old 1,945 wheat penny and immediately think it's worthless. That's the trap. That's exactly why some of these coins quietly disappear into cash registers, parking lots, vending machines, and coin jars every single day, while collectors hunt for them like buried treasure. The 1,945 wheat penny with no mint mark has become one of those silent fortunes hiding in plain sight. A coin that looks ordinary but carries an emotional weight collectors cannot ignore. And the terrifying part is that families have accidentally spent these coins for decades without realizing what they were holding. This is not fiction. Somewhere right now, somebody is using one of these pennies to buy something small, while serious coin collectors are desperately trying to track down untouched examples before they vanish forever. The timing of this coin is what makes it feel almost haunted by history. The year 1945 was one of the most emotional turning points in American history. World War II was finally coming to an end, but the country was exhausted from years of pressure, rationing, production overload, and economic uncertainty. American factories had been operating at extreme speed. The United States Mint was under non-stop demand to keep coin production flowing during a chaotic period when materials, machinery, and labor were stretched thin. That pressure changed everything. Every 1945 wheat penny carries the feeling of wartime survival and national transition. People held these coins during train rides, military deployments, grocery shortages, factory shifts, and moments of uncertainty that shaped modern America forever. And even though millions were produced, survival today is a completely different story. Most of these pennies were heavily circulated for years. They passed through thousands of hands. Children spent them on candy. Workers carried them in oily pockets. Families tossed them into jars and forgot about them. That constant circulation destroyed countless examples, especially the ones with original untouched surfaces. So when collectors discover a fine-condition 1945 wheat penny with strong details, smooth wear, and authentic color, the entire atmosphere changes. Quiet bidding turns aggressive. Private collectors become emotional. Some buyers refuse to walk away once they decide they need that coin in their collection. The physical feel of the 1945 wheat penny is one of the details collectors obsess over. The coin weighs approximately 3.11 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. Its thickness sits around 1.5 millimeters, giving it that familiar solid copper feel older collectors instantly recognize. The edge, or girth, forms a smooth, circular shape without reeds, making the coin feel simple and clean in the hand. But simplicity is what makes wheat pennies so dangerous to ignore. This tiny piece of metal contains mostly copper, with smaller amounts of zinc and tin blended into the composition. That copper-rich mixture gives surviving examples their beautiful aged appearance, sometimes deep brown, sometimes soft chocolate toning, and occasionally flashes of reddish warmth, hiding beneath decades of circulation. Now this detail changes everything. Original toning matters more than most people realize. Collectors do not want a shiny, cleaned coin that looks fake and damaged. They want authenticity. They want age. They want that untouched antique surface that proves the coin survived naturally through history. The moment someone polishes or cleans a 1945 wheat penny, the emotional connection disappears and the market value can collapse instantly. That's why experienced collectors become almost protective over original surfaces. Even dirt in certain protected areas of the coin can actually help confirm authenticity and originality. So if you ever find one, never clean it. No chemicals, no rubbing, no polishing cloth. Leave it exactly as it is. The front of the coin, known as the obverse, features Abraham Lincoln facing toward the right side. Above his portrait are the famous words, "In God we trust." On the left side appears the word liberty, while the date 1945 is stamped clearly on the right. And beneath the date, something incredibly important is missing. There is no mint mark. That means this penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the main production center during one of the most intense periods in American coin manufacturing history. Collectors pay extremely close attention to this missing mint mark because Philadelphia coins from the wartime era carry a special historical connection tied directly to America's economic and industrial backbone. Turn the coin over, and the reverse design reveals the iconic wheat ears stretching along both sides of the coin. Between them are the words 1 cent and United States of America, with E pluribus unum resting above. The design feels classic, balanced, and unmistakably American. For many collectors, wheat pennies represent more than money. They represent memories, family history, wartime survival, and a lost era of American life that can never be recreated again. That emotional connection is exactly why demand keeps increasing year after year. And here's what most people completely miss. The condition of the coin controls everything. A fine condition 1945 wheat penny still shows visible details in Lincoln's hair, readable lettering, and defined wheat lines on the reverse. That may sound simple, but surviving examples with honest wear and untouched surfaces are becoming harder to locate every year. Many coins were damaged, bent, corroded, cleaned, or destroyed over time. Others disappeared permanently into private collections where collectors refuse to sell them back into the market. That shrinking supply creates pressure, and pressure creates obsession. Auction rooms become incredibly tense when a desirable example appears. Some collectors sit quietly for long periods before suddenly entering aggressive bids at the last second. Others monitor auctions privately because they know competition is growing worldwide. Hidden wealth attracts attention fast. The 1945 wheat penny with no mint mark has evolved into far more than an old coin. It has become a symbol of silent fortune, hiding in plain sight. Today, strong, fine-condition examples have reached market values around $134,000, shocking ordinary people who still believe all pennies are worthless. So if you're checking old jars, inherited collections, estate boxes, or forgotten rolls of coins, pay close attention to the date, the missing mint mark, and the surface condition. Look for natural aging. Look for strong lettering. Look for original color. Most importantly, stay patient. Rushing destroys opportunities in the coin world. Some people panic and clean coins trying to make them look newer, but experienced collectors know patience creates wealth. Professional grading is critical because authentication and preservation can dramatically influence collector confidence and long-term value. And that's why the 1945 wheat penny remains one of the most dangerous coins to accidentally ignore. It looks harmless, quiet, ordinary, but hidden inside that tiny copper coin is a piece of American history and a life-changing opportunity that people are still losing every single day without realizing it. Do not spend this coin if you find one, because what looks like pocket change to most people could actually be a silent fortune waiting to completely change someone's future. And the next coin on this countdown is even scarier. Collectors become absolutely obsessed whenever one appears, and the story behind it is so unbelievable that many people think it can't possibly be real until they see the auction results themselves. There's something deeply unsettling about the 1946 wheat penny with no mint mark, because this coin hides its secret too well. At first glance, it looks like nothing more than an old dirty penny somebody forgot decades ago. Most people would never stop to inspect it. They would spend it, drop it in a tip jar, or toss it into loose change without thinking twice. But collectors see something completely different. They see a disappearing survivor from one of the most important transitions in American history. And every year, fewer original examples remain. That's why this coin has quietly become a hidden treasure people are accidentally losing every single day. The year 1946 carried enormous emotional weight across the United States. World War II had finally ended, but America was still recovering from the economic and industrial pressure left behind by years of conflict. Soldiers were returning home. Factories were shifting away from wartime production. Families were rebuilding normal life again after years of sacrifice and uncertainty. The U.S. Mint was still operating under pressure as the country moved into a completely new era. Coins from 1946 represent that fragile moment between war and peace, and collectors feel emotionally connected to that history. Every surviving 1946 wheat penny carries the atmosphere of post-war America directly inside the metal itself. And this is exactly why the coin feels so different when collectors hold one in their hands. The 1946 wheat penny has a weight of approximately 3.11 grams and a diameter of about 19 millimeters. Its thickness measures close to 1.5 millimeters, while the smooth outer girth gives it that unmistakable classic wheat penny feel collectors instantly recognize. The coin is made primarily from copper, with smaller amounts of zinc and tin mixed into the composition. Over decades, that copper surface develops rich natural toning that serious buyers obsess over. Some examples darken into deep chocolate brown shades, while others carry soft reddish traces hidden beneath years of aging. That antique appearance becomes incredibly important because original surfaces create trust, authenticity, and emotional appeal. Now here's the part most people completely misunderstand. Dirt is not always bad. Darkness is not always damage. In the world of rare coins, untouched surfaces can be far more valuable than bright, shiny ones. A naturally aged 1946 wheat penny tells a story. It proves survival. But the moment somebody cleans the coin, trying to improve it, the surface changes forever. Tiny hairline scratches appear. Natural toning disappears. Collector confidence drops immediately. That's why experienced buyers would rather own a dark, untouched penny than a polished one that lost its historical character forever. So if you ever discover one of these coins, never clean it. This detail changes everything. The front of the coin, called the obverse, displays Abraham Lincoln facing toward the right side. Across the top are the words, "In God We Trust," while liberty appears beside Lincoln's portrait. The date, 1946, is clearly stamped on the front. But what makes this specific coin so important is what you do not see beneath the date. There is no mint mark. That means the penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced enormous numbers of coins during America's recovery period after the war. Collectors pay close attention to Philadelphia wheat pennies because they connect directly to the center of American coin production during one of the nation's most emotionally powerful eras. Flip the coin over, and the reverse design reveals the famous twin wheat stalks stretching upward along both sides. Between them sit the words 1 cent and United States of America, while E pluribus unum appears above. The design feels simple, almost humble, but collectors see something iconic in that simplicity. Wheat pennies represent old America, a time of struggle, rebuilding, family survival, and economic transition. That emotional connection is one reason collectors become obsessed with preserving high-quality surviving examples from the 1940s. But survival is exactly where things become complicated. Even though many 1946 pennies were originally produced, most did not survive in desirable condition. These coins circulated aggressively through stores, diners, factories, bus stations, and family homes during America's rebuilding years. They were handled constantly, scratched, bent, damaged, lost. Some were exposed to moisture, chemicals, or harsh cleaning over time. Others disappeared permanently into private collections where they may never return to the market again. So, when a fine-condition 1946 wheat penny with original surfaces appears today, collectors immediately notice it. and the competition becomes intense. Quiet collectors who normally avoid attention suddenly enter aggressive bidding wars when an attractive example reaches the auction market. Some buyers hold these coins for years because they believe demand will continue increasing as surviving examples disappear. Others desperately search for coins with strong wheat lines, readable lettering, and untouched color because originality matters so much in this market. Most people miss this completely. They think rarity only comes from mistakes or errors. But sometimes true rarity comes from survival, condition, and historical importance combined together in one tiny coin. That's why the market value shocks ordinary people. A fine condition, 1,946 wheat penny without a mint mark, has reached values around $112,000 in today's market. Hidden wealth, sitting quietly in a coin, most people would never examine twice. This is serious money hiding in plain sight, a silent fortune disguised as pocket change. If you think you may have one, start by checking the date carefully under strong light. Confirm there is no mint mark beneath the year. Then examine the surface closely. Look for natural color, original texture, and visible details in Lincoln's portrait and the wheat stalks on the reverse. Avoid touching the surface too much because fingerprints and oils can affect long-term preservation. Most importantly, consider professional grading. Authentication is critical in today's market because collector trust can dramatically influence final auction prices. Patience matters too. Smart collectors never rush rare coins into the market carelessly because timing and presentation can create enormous differences in value. And that's what makes the 1,946 wheat penny so dangerous to ignore. It hides quietly among ordinary coins while carrying history, scarcity, collector obsession, and life-changing opportunity inside one small copper disc. People are accidentally spending these coins every day without realizing they may be holding a hidden treasure that collectors would fight to own. Do not spend this coin if you find one. Protect it, store it safely, and never destroy its originality by cleaning it. What makes these wheat pennies so unbelievable is not just the money. It's the fact that ordinary Americans carried these coins through some of the most emotional years in United States history, and today, those same pennies have become silent fortunes hiding in plain sight. Somewhere out there, more rare wheat pennies are still waiting to be discovered inside old jars, inherited collections, forgotten drawers, and loose pocket change. And the next hidden treasure could already be sitting closer than you think. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to Rare Coin News USA, because we're uncovering more hidden coin fortunes that most people spend every single day without realizing it. And trust me, the next rare coin we cover is even more shocking, more mysterious, and worth far more than most people could ever imagine.